glad you're here. This is one of those spaces where you don't just listen to a story, you sit with it afterward. I always tell these in the first person so you can feel it the way I did, without distance. If you haven't subscribed, consider it. Some stories don't let go easily. Now, let's begin. I used to think danger only existed when you crossed a physical line, meeting someone, getting in a car, opening a door. I didn't realize how much damage could happen long before any of that. I spent a lot of time talking to people online. It felt normal, especially living in Manhattan, where everyone is surrounded by people but starving for connection. My parents hated it. They said I was always on my phone, always talking to strangers. I told them they were exaggerating. It was just messages, just voices. That's how I met her, through Instagram. A comment thread under a video about accents. Her name was Lena, she was from Canada, and the conversation felt effortless, curious, warm, familiar. Within a day, we were sending voice notes, laughing about food, culture, how different winters felt in our cities. Talking to her became routine, safe. She told me she'd been meeting people online since she was young, like it was nothing new. I didn't see it as a red flag. I saw it as experience. Eventually, the conversations shifted. Less culture, more personal. Family, exes, fears. One night, she told me she'd been with someone for years. Not officially, not in person, but connected. His name was Ethan, and he lived just outside New York. When I asked if they'd met before, she said no. She said it casually, like it didn't matter. Then she told me she was finally coming to the US for 6 months to meet him. Tourist stay, new chapter. I remember feeling a quiet knot in my stomach, but I didn't name it. January in New York is brutal, cold, sharp, unforgiving. I met her at Penn Station when she arrived. The moment I saw her, smiling and nervous and real, I felt relief. She hugged me like we'd known each other forever. Ethan was there too. He stood back while we talked, watching more than participating. Polite, reserved. Something about him felt contained, like he was holding something in. I ignored it. Lena stayed with him in New Jersey, but she spent most days with me in Manhattan. We did all the things she'd dreamed about: Central Park, bookstores, long walks through neighborhoods that felt like movie sets. She posted everything. She looked happy. At night, she'd call me. At first, she sounded excited, then quieter, then cautious. Sometimes she'd stop mid-sentence, like she was listening for something. She said Ethan got irritated easily. She always followed it with, "But it's fine." One afternoon, sitting in my apartment, she told me she was leaving early, flying home on February 3rd, 2 days away. She said Ethan wasn't the same in person, too controlling, too reactive. Her parents already had the ticket. I told her to go. I meant it. I told her I'd figure out my own plans. The relief on her face scared me more than her fear. The next morning, I left early to give her space to talk to him. I went to a coffee shop near Bryant Park and pretended everything was normal. Around noon, I got a message from Ethan. Emergency. Need help. I called Lena immediately. No answer. Again, nothing. Minutes later, another message from him. Never mind. All good. My hands started shaking. The switch was too fast, too clean. I left my coffee untouched and rushed back. When I got to the building, 2 people from Lena's church group were already there. Pale, shaking. They'd received the same message. We knocked, called her name. Nothing. Someone called the police. When they forced the door, I didn't see inside, but I heard the tone change. Orders. A struggle. Silence. Ethan was let out in handcuffs. clothes stained, eyes wide like he couldn't understand what he'd done. I kept asking where Lena was. No one answered at first. Then an officer told us softly that she was gone. The days after blurred together. Phone calls, her parents arriving, grief that felt too big for my body. I stayed longer than I needed to because leaving felt wrong, like abandoning her again. When I finally came back to Manhattan, the city looked exactly the same. That's what haunted me the most. Life didn't pause. Streets didn't mourn. My mom hugged me at the airport and whispered, "I was so worried." I couldn't tell her she was right. The guilt wouldn't let me. I think about Lena a lot, about how she tried to leave, about how leaving was the moment everything broke, about how long trust can grow online without ever being tested by reality. I still open Instagram sometimes. I still see strangers laughing in comment sections, starting conversations that feel harmless. And every time, I think about how danger doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just waits patiently, behind a screen, behind a door, behind the idea that nothing bad has happened yet.